both of you. Which means that we who have the Quran, we who have Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we have more knowledge than they have on this subject of the end time. What a pity it is that at a time we should be intellectually leading the world in explaining the strange events unfolding in the world. At the time we should be leading the world in our analysis of what is happening in the world of politics, what is happening in the economy, what is happening in the world of money, what is happening in terms of power politics in the world. When we should be leading the world in anticipating events which are to unfold. When we should be leading the world in informing the world where they're going. Ours is a voice which seems to be, should I say it? I don't know, they're eating halwa. What's happened? Where is the voice of Islam? What has happened to the learned and distinguished scholars of Islam? What has happened? وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا, indicating that there is more knowledge here than amongst you, the chosen, so-called chosen people. With this marvelous introduction to the subject, we now proceeded to Suratul Kahf and to the story of the young men in the cave. But we said, no, let's not do that. Since this was وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ, we should go now to وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنْ ذِي الْقَرْنَيْنِ for continuity. Are you following me? There is similarity in the manner in which these two questions are answered. So if we start with this one, we should go to this one now. So we leave the young men in the cave for last. And we've explained to you why we are doing it. We go now to the great traveler, which we did about 3 days ago. And we found that in giving the answer to this question, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not stop at the second journey. They had only asked about 2 journeys, the 2 ends of the earth. But we are being taught a lesson now that when these fellows ask a question, the target of the question is not in the question. The target of the question is elsewhere. And you have to be able to discern what is the target of the question. So you're dealing with very clever people. Allah speaks about the 3rd journey. That's what you wanted to know about, the 3rd journey. Although it's not there in the question. And at the end of the 3rd journey, we reached one of the major signs of Allah, of the 10. Gog and Magog. So now we know that the target of the question was Gog and Magog, not the traveler, Gog and Magog, which only a prophet would know about, Gog and Magog. When we now turn to question 1, if The first question was meant to puzzle him, set a trap for him. That was the hors d'oeuvres. And the second question had as its target one of the major signs of Allah. It follows therefrom that the third question must also have as its target one of the major signs of the last day. Because only a prophet would be able to answer it. The story of the young men in the cave must have been known to many people. Even Edward Gibbons wrote about it in The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. So that could not be the target. Why? Because only a prophet can answer it. So then what is the target of the question in number one, the young men in the cave? It has to be one of the signs of the last day that only a prophet can answer. They know about it, because they had prophets coming to them in an unbroken line from the time of Musa alayhi salam to the time of Isa alayhi salam, said Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. So they are privy to this knowledge, which they keep concealed. And so now we have to put on our thinking caps. What could be the target of the first question? Allah answered the one about the ruh. He answered the one about the great traveler. But where is the answer to the one about the young men in the cave? In answering the question, he gives us the historical data. Yeah, which was known to many people, that they were young men and they had faith. And these were rabbis are Jews, aren't they? They're not Christians, are they? Come on, tell me. In Medina, they were Jews or Christians? Jews. Jews, right? So if these young men were Christians, the rabbis would want to conceal that, wouldn't they? Because Allah is obviously with the Christians. So how could these young men be Christians? Huh? And yet in all the tafsir they are Christians. Except Muhammad Asad. Because Muhammad Asad, rahimahullah, was born of Jewish parents who were rabbis, who was brought up to be a rabbi, and who was 22 years of age as a political correspondent of a German newspaper in Arabia when he converted and became Muslim. It was Muhammad Asad who said, no, they are not Christians, they are Jews. These young men, free from a society which was blaspheming, and this was well known, and they fled to the cave, and the miracle occurred, and it was well known. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala went on to give some more information that they didn't have. It must have stunned them when they heard it. Because I don't think the prophets informed them about the dog. If I could speak with them, and if they would be truthful to me, which I don't think they will, I believe we can confirm that they did not have information about the dog. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down in Surah Al-Kahf of the Quran the bare history of the subject, but includes the dog and includes the dog lying at the center of the entrance of the cave, and even describes how he was lying with his front legs stretched out in front of him. These meticulous details must have shaken the Jews. But the target of the question could not have been something located in the historical record. The dog could not have been the target of the question. It had to be something located in the end times, because Gog and Magog is in the end times. So what could have been the target of the question? We have come to the conclusion, this is our conclusion, no one has to accept it. We have come to the conclusion that the rabbis wanted to know whether he knew about Dajjal. I don't know what name they have for him, but whatever name they have for him, the Israeli Mossad is the best student he has. The Israeli Mossad has learned all their tricks from him. And indeed the Israeli Mossad has this motto. What is it? By way of deception. Dajjal has a PhD in deception.
It's a book by that name.
Oh. Now, there's a book by that name as well. Now, we have come to the conclusion that the target is Dajjal. But in Surah Al-Kahf, Allah does not make any direct mention of the target of the question. In other words, he left them guessing. And that is how the subject of Dajjal is dealt with in Islam and in the Quran. All the references to Dajjal, all the data pertaining to Dajjal are all of this nature. That if you want to use ordinary reason and logic, if you want to use only external observation, you will end up with a flying donkey. And how embarrassing it is going to be. And I am not being disrespectful to my brothers, the learned scholars of Islam. How embarrassing it's going to be when on Judgment Day you learn that you were using Dajjal's money and you never even knew it. And when he changed from the paper currencies to the invisible money, the electronic money, you were stamping it with your fatwa of halal, and you never knew it was Dajjal's money. That you had abandoned the sunnah money, the gold dinar and silver dirham, and you'd never lifted even your little finger to where you just struggle to bring back the sunnah money. How embarrassing it is going to be on Judgment Day. Before Judgment Day. When this fellow stands up in Jerusalem and declares that he is the Messiah, and all the evidence points to him that he is indeed Dajjal. But you go to him and you say to him, excuse me sir, you say you are the Messiah, I believe you are the false Messiah, but I have a problem. Where is your flying donkey? It's going to be embarrassing. The subject is hidden in the Quran. And we came across this word in that ayah of Surah Al-Isra.